So I would be dishonest if I would, if I were to say that current events don't anger and upset me, because they do. But I don't let, I try not to let those, oh man, there's a gum wrapper on the floor. I'm going to pick that up at the end of this episode, but I chewed some gum and I don't know why I put that there, but I apologize for people who are seeing it. I'm going to pick that up at the end of the show and you won't see it again. But yeah, things do anger me, but I don't think it's intelligent to go off on that. There are times when you have to express your anger when you're in danger, but for the most part, that's not necessary. And like I say, looking at some of these current events, I've never seen things where we do not have a shared reality in this country, and perhaps not even in this country, but in the civilized world. It does to me, and there's always a possibility that a few elites right now who believe that they know what is right for everyone are controlling a lot of things. A few fanatical, uh, and I think perhaps a few, there's I don't think they're a majority, but they're perhaps a large plurality of fanatics that are controlling information and then controlling policy. And of course, that does anger me because uh, the stuff they believe is completely illogical and irrational and blatantly unfair. So, and I'm looking at Maricopa County and the way the news media is covering the Arizona audit. Um, and they used to be a lot less unbiased. Now, they've always kind of moved towards the left, but they never, they always pretty much kept their opinions to themselves. And you're not seeing that today. They are openly about their opinions, they're openly against the president or against the former president. And the type of lecturing that I see is just even it does bother me. It does, like, where do these people come from? Where are their journalistic ethics? And I've said it before. America used to be, and the newsroom reflected, a stoic nation, a nation that kept its emotions intact and saw beyond their own nose. Like, hey, people want the full range of the story. And is there any thought like, hey, is this fair? Even if the idea, even if you believe the idea of the audit to be completely without merit and things like that, shouldn't you present it in a better way? And the January 6th, people complaining about what happened in January 6th, and then there's evidence that they were let in by the police, and many of them talked about being peaceful, and then compare that to the BLM Antifa riots. and try talking to them. I mean, at least a Trump supporter, they want to talk to you. And this has been going on for years, before even Trump got into office. These leftists, they don't want to talk to you. These BLM protesters, a lot of them don't want to. If you are on the other side, they don't want to talk to you. And if you're even, and that means even being objective, they don't want to talk to you. And it's been going on for years. They're moral authoritarians. And, to me, I cannot believe that they are getting as many or as much play as they have. And how such a myopic and vindictive group has control over the establishment, to me, is beyond me. The fact that Antifa gets better press than the Proud Boys, which maybe both are bad, but the Proud Boys are a byproduct of Antifa and of the fact that Antifa, 9 times out of 10, were the ones initiating physical force and physical assault. And then the police protected them, whom Antifa hates and despises. It just kind of baffles the mind how a city like Portland, a city like Portland can defend this kind of thing. And the majority of the people in Portland believe what Antifa is doing is correct. And I suspect even the city of Los Angeles, maybe even the state of California, may side with Antifa. And that's really sad. That's one of the reasons why I may want to leave. Because Antifa does not believe in freedom of speech. The establishment in general do not believe in freedom of speech. They believe in punishing you for wrong speech. And that net widens of what is acceptable speech and what isn't. So it does anger me. How do I respond to that? I mean, there are people of like-minded who believe in freedom of speech and freedom of discussion and want to discuss things openly and honestly. Some people find that's part of the enjoyment of life, is being able to be free and speak freely. But I'm around so many people who don't believe that and can't see beyond their own nose. I have opinions on that, on why that is. And unfortunately, for me, I found that more women are more likely to shut down speech, like be in favor of shutting down free speech than men. They're more in favor of censorship. They believe in hate speech. And hate speech laws can be used against you and can be used to oppress you and hurt you. The fact that we can't even talk, internationally, the fact that we can't even talk about what's going on in, or what was happening in South Africa, because there are white racists who take advantage of that and talk about it. But that doesn't mean that South Africa is not a racial vendetta nation. And there are lots of racial vendetta elements to that country. And if you're a person of European descent, would you want to live there? To me, if people want to shut down the debate about South Africa, they should go live there. Go show it to me in practice. Don't tell me in theory. Because it reminds me, there's a person who wrote a song white parents. I almost want to Google that. Let me see here if I can find this. Do they have it? Yeah, her name is. This person's name is Shenduzi. I don't even know if I can pronounce her name. I might play her song, but she's a proud Zimbabwean. Okay, Zimbabwe had some of the worst white farm murders, and maybe she supports it. She's also part European too. She's part sub-Saharan African and part European. But of course, she is someone who I'm going to assume wants to overcompensate for her European heritage, and she probably would just wash that off. I mean, there's a video of her, and you should look it up. Just YouTube white parents, and she's painting herself white and saying that I'm not good enough to meet your white parents. Which that song is just right. I don't know where she comes up with this kind of idea. I guess there are a few, but on average, that's really not a social issue today. It's like I said, that's something that went out of vogue probably in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. And I guess there are a few conservative parents that don't want, their children to date interracially, but on average, that's just not true. And of course, you can't question these people today. Before, in the early 2000s, and even in the mid 2000s, like 2014, 15, it was the Wild West, and you could say whatever you want, and you could put these people on blast. Now the establishment protects them from scrutiny, which, I don't want to live in, one of the reasons I think about leaving California is, the weather's great, but the politics and the fanatics here, I don't want to be around that nonsense. I don't want to be around somebody who shuts me down because they don't like what I say, If what you say is true, it'll stand up to scrutiny. It'll stand up to its bootstraps. Anyway, I was going to go into some further stuff, but I think I might save that for tomorrow. This has been Brian with Transparency and Merit. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And I'll see you for tomorrow. And enjoy the rest of your day.